Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How you doing? It's our little get together on Sunday in this together, courtesy of the National Lottery. As you can see behind me here, the community funding. I've got with me today, Pete. I've got Angus as usual and Dave early on. I actually put a thing out this morning because a lot of people having a bit of a wah, 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 and I've just put it out there this morning. Let's talk about, let anyone's got anything to say about what's happening at the moment. Come on and join us. We'll see if anyone does. I doubt it. But we have had a little backlash, haven't we? I think. Has anyone noticed it?
Not really,
Of
no.
of Davis out, quite a few. I think a lot of people, not so much in our group, we've had a few, but in some of the other groups, have suddenly realised that he ain't going nowhere, and it's hit home. You know, it's been quite vocal in some of the groups. Um, Totally unnecessary now. I mean, the season's finished. I think nothing's going to happen to Chris Davis. He ain't going nowhere. All the noise is coming out of the club is talking about next season. Um, Yesterday was a decent result, but I think first of all we just got to say well done to the ladies, haven't we?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What an absolutely brilliant performance yesterday. Did everyone watch it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
it was superb on it, and I think after a little bit of a shaky first 10 minutes, there's never any doubt really. And Leader Hammer is something else, isn't she? Leader Hammer. She's a big girl.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to tangle there, would you?
No.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to be the centre half, but I mean, she took those goals well. But I think Hertra is brilliant, isn't she? And Oceana, what's her surname? The black girl, and Lily
Lewis.
Crosswaite and Neve Heron and all of them. I mean, what an absolutely brilliant performance yesterday. I was nearly in tears watching it afterwards.
I,
Me
I,
too.
yeah,
Huh?
and me. I was
It's
in
a
I
bit
was in tears
heart-wrenching,
watching the
wasn't it?
celebrations. Yeah.
And it's like when I started welling up. I was thinking, shit, what's the matter with you, man? What's up? But it was nice, wasn't it? So it's sort of keeping the run going. We won something last year. We won something this year.
Yeah,
I know it's different teams, but we're doing well. The other thing that I noticed yesterday was Lincoln's points total. Did you see?
103, wasn't it?
Yeah, they weren't that far away from us, were they? I think if
No.
they'd had a good season, because they started fairly quietly, because everyone was worried about Cardiff, weren't they, catching us?
yeah.
That was some running by Lincoln. I mean, 103 points, really. They only lost 5 games all season. And for Lincoln, I was shocked that they'd done that well, and be interesting to see how they get on against Spurs next season, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It could be West Ham yet, till they played rubbish yesterday.
Does anyone want Villa to win today?
Okay, you're
No.
joking, ain't you?
I don't. I mean, I want Spurs to go down. I really do.
They'll go down, Steve. Believe
Huh?
me, they're going down. Believe me.
Yeah, but there's only 3 games left in there, I think.
I think it's four.
4.
I could be wrong, but I think it's four.
So Steve, what's all this? I've actually had a purge. I have of all the other groups, and I've only got the project left now.
Yeah.
I mean, I get myself too wound up looking at
Uh,
all the anti-shop. Well, what's the point in doing it? So I've took your advice and ignored it.
has it made you feel a bit better?
Oh, I'm at peace with everything now, man. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
of course. Like the best thing for me was watching that the Keep Right On podcast with Alex Dickin, Brian Dick, and Richard Wilford,
Did you
and
watch that? Do you watch that anyway, or did you watch it because I'd said that Dickie had his arse slapped?
I I'd. I've watched quite a few of theirs, so
Yeah.
I must admit throughout the season. But like I say, as part of my purge, I thought, well, no, I'm not going down that route. Forget it. But then I had a look because I do like Richard Wilford because he does a lot of stuff with the cricket as well.
Richard Wilford's
And
great. He's WM, isn't he?
yeah, and
Yeah.
it absolutely fascinating to hear you know, the alternative to them two, who basically pander to their listeners because they're journalists for Birmingham Live at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think it was interesting because what it showed up was a difference between a really good, seasoned sports journalist. And I'm not saying, like Brian Dick's been in the game for years, but he hasn't got that presence that Richard Wilford's got. And definitely Alex Dickin hasn't. They just change from week to week, whichever way the wind's blowing. I've seen it so many times with them two. I stopped watching them podcasts. But I only watched that because I've seen Richard Wilford was on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, it was more about like having balance with them two, with Dixon Dickin. That there's no balance, there's no counter.
Yeah,
Say argument. Do you know what I mean? Like a counterpoint or whatever. They're
yeah,
both singing from the same hymn sheet. Whatever's going to be that popular hymn sheet for the day, whatever's trending, that's the way they get people to look at them. You know what I mean? That's the way they seem to follow. All of a sudden, you've got another voice getting involved there with Wilford, who is putting another another perspective across. And to be honest, it's I thought it showed the men from the boys. That's my take on it
uh,
anyway.
mine as well. The thing that made me laugh towards the end of that podcast was me seeing something that I see in our group all the time. Uh, this is just like people say, like just Tom, Dick, or Harry saying, we'll give him 3 months at the start of next season. We'll give him the first couple of months. What do you mean? We'll give him the first couple of months. Who the fuck are you like, What do you mean? And he said the same thing, didn't he, Dickie? I think we'll see how it goes. And like Richard Wilford said, what are you talking about? You can't say you're going to give him a few months. What? He just looked totally embarrassed, didn't he, Dickie? He's just schooled, which I thought
Yeah.
was brilliant.
The thing for me, Steve, is that and I don't want to sort of like paraphrase Wilford now, but we've got to move on from thinking about like I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bristol away performance and
Yeah,
it was it wasn't good enough and it was very very poor, and that's where that whole sideways and backwards come and everything. We had that much possession and we're never going to score if we playing
yeah,
that way. Still playing that game, you know what I mean? That was poor. That was.
yeah.
But how long have we got to stay in that mode? Now we
Exactly
fin-
that.
we finished the season with three wins and two draws, and then put the Chris naysayers are going to be saying, "Oh well, yeah, but you did that when it didn't count and everything." You've got new players coming into the squad. We've got a new focus on playing. Let's look forward. Where's it going to gain you from looking back all the time?
Yeah. I think there's going to be a trade-in actually between you and I. Just my feelings. I think we're going to see a bit of a change in backroom staff. I think possibly Ben Petty leaving, possibly Huddleston leaving, and possibly set piece coach, and possibly maybe a new goalkeeping coach. That's just what I think might happen. And Chris Davis will stay because I think what he needs and what he probably lacked this season was that little bit of sort of calming influence behind him who had been there before and done it. What he got was really a virgin team, and when you've got a team of a management team like that, there's not an awful lot of experience in it. I mean, let's just say there was someone like Tony went into that's my thinking behind it. I think that's got a chance of happening. And I wouldn't be too upset about that. I mean, I'm not complaining about Ben Petty or Huddleston or any of the others, but I don't think it would hurt to have a little bit more of a mature, experienced coaching team sitting behind him. I don't know what your thoughts would be on that.
Anyone
No.
else? Anyone else want to join in?
Me and you, mate. Someone comes on now and again and goes, "It'd be nice if you'd let Angus speak." Look, we're asking him, does he want to speak?
I'm just taking it all in. I will say my piece in a little while.
Clive's here. Look, he weren't here last week. The swine.
How you doing, guys? Everybody all right?
Who was here last week?
Well, it was really, first and foremost, I apologise for the week before when you heard me talking online. So please forgive me for that. And that phone call was related to last Sunday. I actually got into hospital for a procedure last Sunday.
All right.
Exactly this time last week, I'm not wrong, somebody was messing with my bottom.
Oh, Jesus. Was you wear Petey's?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. Pete suddenly went offline, off stream, so...
It weren't about 15 minutes in, was it?
And the other thing is, and I was thinking of you, not when somebody was messing with my bottom, see?
All right, let's go downhill, this is.
It certainly is. On Thursday at 10 o'clock, I was in a chair for the first process in my new teeth. And you were about what I was thinking of. You always say, where's your choppers? So I've started that process going now.
Fantastic, that's good news. Yeah, the week before, it was funny because we was winding it up. And all I could hear was just, like you going, oh, yeah, all right. And, all right, hold on a minute. And you're walking around, your camera's off, and we're all like trying to wind it up. And everyone's going, hang on a minute, Clive.
Sorry. And to go back to my view on it, I've always wanted Chris Davis to say, I don't want to change a manager. I think managers get changed too quickly, not just at the Blues, everywhere. On the backroom staff, I'm open-minded about that. Experience is always a key in anything you do in life. Whatever you do in life on a day-to-day basis, you can't beat experience. So, yeah, maybe some experience behind Chris Davis.
One of the reasons I was saying that is because I was thinking it's difficult for the club when you've got so much noise around Chris Davis. And I think, it might be sort of a trade-off with the club. If the club were to say, thanks very much, Ben Petty, blah, 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 blah. Chris, he's gonna have a new background, backroom team with more experience. And I think then a lot of the ones that have been battering him, proven a bit wrong, could then get on board and say, that's what was lacking was the experience, just gives people a bit of an out. But I think it might happen anyway. But we'll see what happens. Right? We've got a long summer now to see exactly what happens. Don't go on the phone, mate.
I'm just saying this, speaker. I also think sometimes if you perhaps Pete, well, we all are. Historically, sometimes when you look at teams and you look at the backroom staff, your backroom staff can be possibly bigger than your squad of players.
Well, if you're looking at all the sports scientists and stuff, it definitely probably is, yeah. But in terms of coaching staff, I think there's 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a huge team, but it's something you can definitely change. Sorry.
Yeah, the other point is you look at sort of like with Man United and when in Ferguson's eras, how many times he switched his number 2. Now, sometimes it may help to have a different voice for the main person to bounce things off. You know what I mean? For different ideas. It's still been, Ferguson. It was obviously Ferguson's show, but that freshening up below him and things, people to bounce ideas off, kept momentum going, didn't it? Whereas, perhaps, Chris has been with Ben for a long time, and it's almost a case of Chris will say something and Ben would say, yes, boss.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't want to be disparaging to Bennett. I don't know.
He's a lovely man, and I've no doubt about his coaching ability. But Chris only knows him from being a part of other backroom teams that Ben's been a part of, namely Leicester. So, Tom Huddleston is pretty new, isn't he, to coaching? He's not like he's managed or been an assistant. Then we've got Mike Taylor, the goalkeeping coach. And then we've got Jonathan Grounds, who I think was doing the set piece coaching, and we were advertising for a set piece coach, but nothing has happened. So, and that's something else that makes me think we might be in for a big change in the backroom staff, because they advertised that post and it was never filled, and it might be a case of we're going to get a new coaching team in. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I think fair enough. There's nothing wrong with freshening things up a bit, and they've always said, haven't they? Players get used to the same old messages and everything as well. So I can't see that being a bad idea, to be honest.
Yeah, man. The other thing I was thinking about was, what do you think now? I'd like to ask a lot of people this question. What's the opinion now of Wrexham? Do we all think that Phil Parkinson's the best thing since sliced bread? Wrexham are brilliant because they're in exactly the same position as us. They got promoted when we did. They spent more money than we did, and they're in the same division as we are next season, just as I knew they would be.
Well, glad they didn't make it.
Well, I'm of a different kind of way. For any club, whether it be Wrexham, I always like to see that happen. And a little bit of me was, I've been pleased Pester and Wrexham have gone from one league to the other, 2 seconds ago. So, yeah, I'm perhaps a little bit different on that. Would I want to go up? No, I wouldn't, I suppose. Yeah, a bit of a rivalry. But, well done to them, I think. Well done to them.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason it's so important, not important to me, but the reason I feel like that is because all season we've had Wrexham thrown in our faces by some of our own supporters. Yes. And Phil Parkinson's held up as some kind of wonder manager when really he's a dinosaur, and he just is. And I don't care what anyone says. You play that. Listen, the way we set up at Derby, right? We tried it for one game. That's how Wrexham set up. 3 centre halves. We had, on that particular day, we had Osman playing as a wing back. It's just, that day was an absolute nightmare. And that's one game when I will criticise Chris Davis. I have done before, but this particular game, he should have changed that after half an hour. You could absolutely see. Was you at Derby, Pete?
No, I didn't. I've obviously watched the game, but no, that was one of my ones that I missed out on.
You could obviously see what was going wrong, and it just wasn't working. We don't play that way. And then people say, no plan B. Well, that's one plan B. And then the other playing now, which is more direct. We almost now play with a 4-4-2, don't we? Almost.
Yeah.
Well, we saw
when we look at that, Steve. That's the way Wrexham line up. Isn't that the way Charlton women lined up against?
Yeah, they do. They play
yesterday, and we just we know what happened. The Lily Crossway, but he stopped their wing back all game because she wasn't playing. She couldn't play wing back. She had to play a traditional fullback.
The wing back. The whole thing with that system is when you're under pressure, the wing back becomes a fullback, and then you got 5 at the back. Yeah, and that's what makes it so limiting, But what were you going to say, Pete?
I was just going to say it was interesting when Jay had to go off, and and Pate come on. The way we changed our, got a stranglehold in the game there, and it was almost like a 4-3-3 because you got sort of like Osman was suddenly getting on the ball more from the one side. You got Docente the other. You got the focal point of Prisk in the middle, and you'd got the three in midfield. Not that it was as rigid as, but you know what I mean.
I do, yeah. If I would probably say it was more like a 4-5-1, which is the same thing. But the two wingers, it wasn't out and out attack. We did drop back, but when we dropped back, it made us a lot more compact in the middle when there's five there, and it did look pretty good, didn't it? And we looked like scoring. I think every time we got a free kick or a corner, I always think this is going in. And to be fair, like the corners, the Wagner corners, very, very good, aren't they?
Yes.
Well, I enjoyed a lot about yesterday's game. I thought, Beadle, an unbelievable save again. If that's his parting shot, and if that's people's last memory of him, then it's a good one, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a wonderful save.
I thought Bright's recovery tackle was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, he lost the ball, didn't he? But he weren't giving that up. I didn't realise that. Well, I did, but that's a pure example of how fast he is, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a thing that we touched on a bit earlier. When we were saying after the Derby defeat, the way that we were a team, and I didn't think we was a team, and if there was anybody who'd got in a little bit of naughtiness,
yeah.
That thing, and I'm not going to lie there. I don't blame the Portsmouth bloke for doing what he did because of that hesitation between Brighton and Beadle. How long do you give him? You know what I mean? I don't blame the bloke for having a cheeky little shot, but I thought it was brilliant the way that everybody's all piled in. That's togetherness again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And no surprise, the first bloke off the dugout and into the fray was old Rocky there, wasn't it? You could see him getting involved, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And we touched on it yesterday, last week before it got cut off. You can stick with the performance about Bristol away and moan at that and this, that, and the other, or you can try and look at positives. And we didn't throw the towel in after the Derby thing. We're coming together, and there's something building there, and there's that bit more of an all for one thing. We're looking like a team now. There's roots a bit of there.
Yeah, and I think the more that Clara and Neumann play together, I mean, it was pretty weird. But did you notice Clara's run down the left wing? Like when he broke, and usually if Clara breaks and he's on the right side, I don't feel too bad. But I've seen him galloping down the left wing with the ball, to the edge of their area almost. And I'm thinking, because he's right-footed, and you can see him taking the ball with his right foot on the left wing. I'm thinking, but that was good to see. And Wagner and I don't know, I think Laird's going to have his work cut out to sort of replace Asai Samuel at the moment, because he's playing really well, isn't
he? He is, and fair play to him for taking his chance. I mean, I'd say he was at fault for the one Middlesbrough goal. His positioning weren't best, and that, and then I'm thinking, oh, come on, Bright, he's this. Get your act together here, son. But since he's come back in the side, he's done nothing wrong. The fair play to him.
The other good thing about his of course, was Prisk's goal, wasn't it?
Oh, I can't hear.
Prisk's goal yesterday.
Oh, towering header, weren't it? And I don't know if you've seen a nice little block from Newman there to give him the freedom of the penalty area.
Yeah. It was, gave him the room. But he took it really well, didn't he? And I can see this lad scoring a lot of goals. I can. I know at the moment he's stuttering a little bit. Probably could have scored another one yesterday. But I think if him and Stansfield hit it off, that's going to be some partnership with Vicente up there with them. And I mean, who knows if we can do something to keep Osman? I mean, wouldn't that be brilliant?
Oh, wouldn't it just? And how surprising that with our Mr. Dixon dicking on about what's its name, Chris's substitutes. Oh yeah, it's the 70th minute. There'll always be a substitute. Oh, well, it's like for like. Didn't make the substitutes yesterday, and the first thing when you look on a thing, oh, why didn't we bring substitutes on and freshen this up? I'm thinking, fucking hell, beam me up, Scotty. But the latest one that's come on now is with Alex Neil. Now, fair play to the bloke; he's done a great job at Millwall and that. But now all of a sudden it's he was in the it was between him and Davis to get that job. Just think where we could have been if we'd have got Alex. It's the captain hindsight bollocks again, isn't it?
It's just all bullshit, you know. I mean, it does my head in. Well, I don't know what they're doing now. Like, the season's finished. Don't keep going on about Chris Davis now, unless you want Blues to fail and you want to be unrest at the club and piss everyone off. I mean, carry on. But it's just a little bit pointless, I think, now. The season's over. Just keep behind you. And that's the end of it.
I think now he's had a season in the Championship, he knows what it's all about. He knows what he's got to do. Get a couple of more players in there and push on. Don't forget it's 8 next season in the playoffs. Right?
Yeah.
It's not 8, but we'd rather go automatically if we can.
And he pretty much said that in his an interview this week. He knows, and he said what he's been saying for the past couple of weeks. 4 or 6 players in and out. Yeah. I know we need some more strength. He's admitted that we're not strong enough. So he's pretty much what you've just said, Angus.
Yeah, and I think I've said a couple of times now that I think he mentioned 6 in, 6 out sometime before. Now the big question is, and I heard Dickin and Dick talking about this. Number one was like that they were slating Solis's performance, weren't they? In the last game, and I just don't see that. He might have been out of position a couple of times, but they're like they're over technical about it, you know. I think Alex Dickin sometimes think he's like, you know, some kind of you know, like wonder tactician, and he's like, you could see Chris Davis going mad at Solis because he was out of position. And I thought Solis has played really well in the last 3 or 4 games, and you can tell when he's not playing, can't you?
Yeah, that's a sign of a good player, that is, isn't it? When you miss them when they're not there.
Yeah, and I really, really hope that we clinch the deal for him. We go ahead with it because I think it'd be a really big signing for us. And the other thing though that they talked about, and I did think this was quite a valid one, was I don't keep talking about them because we can talk about stuff. We don't need to go off their stuff, but have Paik and Iwata sort of outgrown? We outgrown them a little bit now going into next season.
I think we mentioned something about. Oh, sorry, Angus. We mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? I think Iwata would quite happily stay as a backup because he can play just about anywhere. I'm not so sure whether Paik could want to stay as some sort of backup.
It's not so much about them wanting to stay. They're under contract. It's more about do we want to replace them, you know, because
that's what I mean, Steve, is do we want to put them up for sale, or do we want to say to Iwata, for instance, we want to keep you as a squad player and you're going to be a backup in midfield, you're going to be a backup at right back, you'll be a backup
yeah, he's a good squad. I mean, you know, he's a utility player, isn't he? And I think he's proven he can play in a lot of positions. But I think what we've got to look at next season is if we're going to say 6 go out, possibly more because there's a big bench. Would we would we be stronger if we bought in replacement for Pike and Iwata in that pivot at the bottom, in the back? Not necessarily even that. I mean, so the two defensive mids for me is going to be Solis +1. So would we want someone else other than Pike or Iwata in that +1 position? And would that give us a bit more quality through the team? Because I think we need a number 10, don't we?
We definitely need that number 10, 100% we do. But in defence of Pike, what I would say is he's perfect for a manager because he does the orders that the manager asks him to. Yeah. I actually think there's a lot more to Pike's game than
he's a quality player.
He's been, as I say, allowed to show. You know what I mean? That when he can get slightly more forward, he's all right. He's not the worst, is he? And I tell you what, there'll be no shortage of takers for him if people get the idea that we're prepared to do business for him there.
Yeah, there wouldn't be, and I think Iwata as well, because he's pretty good. Like we had Taylor Gardner-Hickman last year doing that sort of role, didn't we? That utility role that Iwata does. And I think it's good to have one player like that. But I think they're both approaching 30. Our squad's quite old, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's good to hear Chris saying that he's learned a lot this season. He knows in his mind what he wants. So whether he's going to be having a bit more say in that recruitment side of it, that I want this type of player, that type of player to go forward, and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think another interesting statistic that I looked at yesterday was Ossis in the woodwork 26 times, I think. Now, it shows you, doesn't it, like the thin line between success and failure. I mean, 5 of those have to go in, and we've probably got another bloody 9 or 10 points, I know you can't, you don't get nothing. It's close, isn't it,
Yeah, like I say, we've seen football evolve this past bloody season, haven't we? With teams getting a bit more direct and everything. Football, it's an ever-evolving game, isn't it?
Yeah. And when your big man is like Chris Scott and like some of the Premier League centre forwards, they're not just, they can do a lot with the ball, not just target. But our dead ball game now is so much better with Priska in the team, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He brings so much more into play as well. Not like we touched on it before. Like, we're not on about just lumping the ball up to him. It's just such an asset, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that goal yesterday was testament to it, wasn't it? He's a big lad. He can get up. He's big, and he can get up, and he's not scared to battle a little bit. So yeah, I'm quite positive about the close season. Looking forward to seeing who we sign. The window opens in June, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And now brings us on to the old season ticket thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. What's your views?
Well, I got quite a few strong views on it, really. I don't know if anybody else wants to say what they think about the pricing of it, or.
Well, I haven't got one. I've only seen the comments. A lot of people are not happy, apparently. But if you want to watch the match, you've got to pay the money.
It's that thing, though, where you say like a lot of people aren't happy about it. It's like people are not happy about Chris Davies. It's the vocal ones, that is. I don't know how many season tickets hold. There's nearly 20,000 in the Pete.
Yeah, there is. I mean,
so there's a lot that are crying about it,
Yeah, mine is hasn't gone up at all, really. I'm in the Gil American a get away with a pensioner one now sort of thing, which is always.
Hasn't it gone up yours?
But only about 20 quid or something. me lads is flipping more than mine. But I know it's gone up in other parts of the ground, and for the pensioner ones seem to have gone up the most for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's strange that, and I noticed that. I don't know whether they think there's too many old fogies watching the Blues. I don't know.
But it's basically.
Go on, Pete.
Yes, I was going to say my little gripe. It's not a gripe, really. Is some of the people won't be able to afford them this season for one reason or another. They have different priorities come along. It don't make them any less of a supporter if they can't afford to get a season ticket and can't come down. They still love the club as much as those who can afford to go. But Absolutely. You do get this all thing, this, oh, well, if I go to the games, therefore I'm more entitled.
That's the old argument, and it's like with season ticket holders, all right, and if they're complaining about it, they're taking a piss. Don't buy a season ticket. If you don't like going away and you think it's shit when you go and you're wasting your money, don't go. Like one of the little things that does my head in is people that have got say, and they're not supposed to do it, and I think a few people have been caught doing it. Is like, say you've got a platinum and you're not going, you buy the ticket and you let someone else use it. Which.
I mean, I didn't get one for Portsmouth. I've missed about 7 games that never got down to bronze for me anyway. But there's yesterday, there was all the old faces out there, and where there's a will, there's a way. And
yeah,
I mean, if you're that desperate, if you're desperate to go, you can find a ticket. Yeah. I could have, if I would have pushed, I could have got one. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but no, it's almost like take the Villa lot there, like I mean, they're getting into Europe year in year out now, aren't they? Yeah. Unfortunately, how much expense is that for the ones who go and follow them abroad? You want success for your club, but it comes at a price.
Yeah.
And
sorry, Paige, and not just for their fans and obviously you, not just the price of the tickets, but paying Saturday games a fair cost. I think they've only paid one Saturday home game in almost 12 months. I think I'm right on that.
Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't play at home on Saturday very often.
Yeah.
I know that, but that's another thing with football, in it. You buy your season ticket and then they change the dates, and it's probably for some people you can't go or something. That's the other thing. But I think they've been really clever with this waiting list thing, because people are panicking. I'll see people asking how you get on the waiting list. How do you get on the waiting list? Well, this waiting list never ever existed. What you do every season when the season ticket's up for sale, you go and buy one if you can, and everyone should be able to get one usually, But now it's this thing in it, and they've just put this thing. I don't know if you've seen it. If you didn't go to any games last season, you're automatically removed from the waiting list. So you go to the bottom of the waiting list, basically. If there even is one, I don't even know if there is one.
Well, and I mean, like renewing on the first day as well. We got a month to renew. Now, I've got another payday coming before I renew, so I can't see the point in me renewing in April when I can do it on the 26th of May.
There's no early bird anymore, is there?
Exactly, but it makes no sense to me for the window that I've got, which was from April the 29th till May the 31st, to go and renew it in April the 29th. I'll keep my money until I get my next paycheck comes in on the 26th. But yeah, it's just that whole thing is that I do feel for those who can't go anymore.
Yeah, you're no less a fan if you can't go. You're just not. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because, like we've always said, the club's ours. The club belongs to the supporters. And supporters are people that follow the Blues. Follow the Blues is a good way of putting it. If you can go down, brilliant. If you can afford it, brilliant. If you can't, I'm sure you can probably try and watch it another way, or just support them in whatever way you can.
Well, I don't get there very often, but I can watch every single game on my old dodgy channel, and that'll do for me.
Yeah, well, don't be advertising it. There'll be a knock on your door, mate.
But what I want,
let them come, Simon Zulu. They'll be gone back out.
Yeah.
You'll be back in Nick here, Will.
What I was sort of leading.
A few young people look at
I'm waiting for you, Angus.
I was going to say, Guy, peg
Now, the only trouble is, Angus, the only prison I'd be working at now is one for pensioners, because I've retired as well. So,
Go on, Pete. What are you going to say, Pete?
But on about season tickets, though, the prices for the ladies' season tickets, I thought
mention that, yeah,
very, very good and competitive. Seeing that our ladies are now at the top league, and it's working out at less than sort of like, well, if I went and got one, it'd be £3 a game for me.
I think it was €50 last season, Beck paid.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, actually. I wonder what the gates will be like next season. That gate at Charlton feels more or less that one side. I think we took, I'm not sure how many we took, probably nearly 1,000, do you think, looking at it?
Yeah, made some noise.
And there were, because the club supplied free coaches.
Steve, I don't know whether on some occasions you go off your voice stores. I don't know whether anybody else is.
I've heard that before, actually. It might just be because I'm quite a long way away from you. But I need to speak up a little bit sometimes.
I can, but sometimes, every time you go like that, I see Peter changing his volume. I think he might think he sees just his own.
Are you changing your volume, Pete?
I am. It's always me, yeah.
That's probably because you can't hear me, is that? Or you turn it down? Yeah, all right. And I'll talk a little bit louder. I did actually turn my master volume down a bit a few weeks ago, because people were saying it was coming across a bit too loud. So I've had little issues with my microphone. It's a nice microphone, but it just needs, it's a little bit temperamental. But yeah, so I'm excited for the ladies next season. I really am, and we're going to keep. The worry is always, isn't it? If you lose people like Lily Crosswaite and Hertra and all the others, Lida Hammer, the other Swedish girl didn't get in the side yesterday, did she?
We're so lucky at the project that we've got sort of like Beck, who is that on the ball and in the know with the ladies team. Is that can keep everybody in the group up to date. I mean, that's how I follow it, basically, is via what Beck's puts. Whereas another plug for the project here, not a lot of other groups have got that input in with the ladies team that the project group has. Throughout the summer, obviously it's going to go quieter now, only natural, but there's still a lot of things going on, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's going to probably be. I mean, Pete, we spoke about the website, you and I, last week. You know what's going on with that. So I think Beck's going to have her own little place on that. We did your little thing the other day, didn't we? With your like miserable looking face on it.
That's it, just starting, yeah.
You looked a bit. But it was a solemn face, because that photo was at the side of the plaque, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
I thought you might have tried to smile, but anyway. But no,
Yeah.
so it's all going to be a little bit up market, more upmarket next year, and Beck's going to do a bigger thing with the ladies, and I think that's good. We'll be in the WSL, and I think we're going to get a ladies review off Beck's season's review coming up soon. But we got the World Cup as well, haven't we?
Well, we've got that, and we've also got all the lead up into the who we think we should be bringing in, and this, that, and the other.
Oh,
Which to be honest, we don't. The way we recruit, you're looking at Wikipedia, aren't you? Who?
yeah. Well, we don't, in our group, we tend not to put anything in unless we're 99% sure of signing. I don't think we put anyone in last season that didn't sign. We was late with one and early with most. I think Priska was one that I weren't sure about, and then right at the end, I thought, yeah, he's gonna sign. But everyone else we got in really early. I think Osman and uh, I forget the others anyway. Like we got on there early, and because we don't, anyone can make it up. And people go, oh, they picked everyone, yeah, but they put 60 people in, and they got three of them right, you know what I mean? And it's not a competition, but you don't leave. I don't know, like if it's good fun or not, I'm not sure. I don't like to be led up the garden path about signings, but
I find it good and quite entertaining to look at some of the names that are
I
put
know.
out.
Like me last season with Mitrovic,
Yeah, yeah.
legend. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's right, and I think some of our supporters, particularly like the Johnny Come Latelys, think we're like, we're about to become Man City or something. We're not.
Mm.
So, it doesn't come that. It takes a long time.
And we dodged a bullet with that Poku from Peterborough, didn't we? It was absolutely hopeless.
Yeah, well,
Poku
dodged a bullet there, didn't we, Pope?
did, yes. He ain't done nothing.
And of
Well,
course,
you-
this
Go on, mate.
Wednesday we've got the another reveal from Nick Smith, haven't we? About with the
Grand.
ground or something.
Yeah. Who's going to that?
I'm going to watch it on to watch it. So I did apply, but I wasn't successful. So I shall watch it on the on the
It's
YouTube.
funny how when you get told you're not successful and then have a look to see who's there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did see.
What?
My mate UB40 has signed up to play the first concert there. Is that right?
Who have?
My mate UB40 signed up to play the first concert at the new stadium.
Oh, have they? That'd be good.
That
Let's hope they're all alive.
Yeah, it's the fifth gone, mate. 3 or 4 of them gone, but hey.
It's only a joke. It's only a joke.
Yeah, I saw that, Angus, but the only thing about that was that report said Tom Wagner had a chat with them.
Yeah.
And you're like, pinch of salt maybe, but
yes. So someone like Daniel O'Donnell plays there. That's who we want. Ever heard of him, Daniel O'Donnell?
Yeah, Daniel O'Donnell is the Irishman.
I was going to say what we want is that ex-Hosteria DJ legend called Trainer. Get him funny flipping others doing a set.
You never know, do you? Oh, bloody hell, Clive. What's the matter with you? I'll tell you what, leave that there, will you? Leave that there, will you? In front of the camera. It's a bit better than what we're looking at.
We've had it all today. Clive in his calendars. Pete and his dogging. What more can you want on Sunday?
I made me pie earlier. You can see Clive dinner all day.
Well, we've had that. We've had that. I can tell you what I've had to do today, whilst this was on.
Been chucking
I
up.
mentioned, no, it's got might have something to do with dogging actually. Yesterday, I was taking the German Shepherd for its final walk, and a male dog suddenly bloody mounted her. I've managed to get it off, but apparently it only takes 2 seconds. So I've just mentioned it to the wife. She went absolutely ballistic. And did you know you can get a morning after pill for the dog? So I've got to. I said, but it's bank holiday weekend, so I was quickly looking it up, and I've got to get it within 72 hours. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a load of bloody puppies.
Can we go back to cakes, please?
Eh?
Can we go back to my baking?
Well, you might like it in one of your cakes.
I was going to say, them Alsatians don't muck about it, do they? They're like me. Bloody hell.
2 seconds. 2 seconds, job done. Anyway, we're still on record, aren't we? So we better.
Yeah, so I was going to tell you quickly about my little high-protein cake that I made. I did group last week, but I'm going to say, I told these lot before and I showed it them as well. But I'm going to tell you what it is. If you want to have a nice high-protein cake, you can do it 2 ways. You can use a large bottle, we have them over here, I don't know how they are in the UK, of chickpeas, like, about that size. 3 tablespoons of
peanut butter.
Fucking peanut butter. and 3 bananas, pretty ripe ones. Blend them or mash them up. Stick them into a bake tin. Nice high protein, low fat cake. The other way you can do it, instead of using the chickpeas, is to use 3 eggs, if you prefer that. So there you go. That's I might be doing little cooking tips every week.
I've got one question to ask before we go. Right? Does anyone know what happened to Tony on your bike Butler? Is he still alive?
No, he's dead, I think.
Is he?
He's on his bike.
That's the way. Listen.
All right, I used to follow him. Obviously, down here, you don't get here a lot. And I'm thinking, on your bike, what happened to him?
He was all right, Tony Butler, wasn't he?
Yeah, phone a few times, yeah.
But on about your food recipes, Steve. I remember when I was a kid, they used to have the Jimmy Young program. Remember that? And they used to have recipes.
What's the recipe today, Jim?
Today, Jim. Do you remember that, Dave? He's gone.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, Rick. And Steve did it perfectly. What's the recipe today, Jim? And yeah.
No, that's what you'll have to do, like, from now on then, Steve. What's the recipe today, Steve?
Yeah, during the last season, we'll look forward to it.
Listen, guys, it's been a nice chat this morning. We've had that. It's just nice, isn't it? The season's over. We're all done. We know what we're doing. The girls are promoted. The men are all ready for next season. We finish the season on good form. Looks like we're going to keep Chris Davis as manager, and everything's quite rosy at St Andrews at the moment, isn't it? And let's not forget, it's the best season we've had for 10 years.
The championship, yeah, of course.
I think it was the best points, didn't they say it was the best points for 14 years?
I don't know. I know. I heard Chris Davis say 10 years, so I thought that's what it was. But what I'm saying.
I think it was the best position for 10 years, but the best points for 14 years for some reason.
But it's been a nice finish to the season. It hasn't been a bad season, and listen, we've had a bit of fun and we've had a laugh. And we'll carry this on anyway on Sundays. We'll have our little chats if we still want to carry on doing it. I think we will. Yeah, we've got the World Cup, and we can just talk crap anyway if we want, can't we? Do generally, so
As long as you do a new recipe next Sunday.
That's it.
New recipe next Sunday. I might have to try one of these out.
Well, you'll see. I'll do it when I'm on.
All right.
Anyway, guys, hang on a minute. I'm trying to. Thank you for joining me today. And I was just trying to see what I could see there. Thank you for joining me today. It's been an interesting one. I've enjoyed it. And see you next week, if not before, guys. Thanks. Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Thanks, lads.